Hello, Appleton School District. I am Healthy Chef Shell, Chef Shelly Platten. Voila. I am a personal chef and cooking instructor in the Fox Cities. I have my own chef business. I work in people's homes for events and private lessons. I teach at all different locations around the state. I also am an adjunct instructor for Fox Valley Tech, and I work with students from Appleton Central High School on a culinary collaborative program, which has been a very rewarding, wonderful thing to do this year. I also do corporate wellness for all different businesses and school districts, and I'm thrilled to be a part of your wellness program. Thank you, Tammy, for bringing me in. And I'm excited to offer you several cooking videos over the month, and we are going to go over all different subjects, all different things that may interest you as far as trying to eat healthier, trying to incorporate more vegetables, maybe a meatless Monday, trying to get more of the meat and the processed and the fast food, more of that off the plate, and making more room for healthy fruits and vegetables, because I can't emphasize enough, this is where the health is. This is where the nutrition is, getting as many vegetables, wonderful pieces of produce into your life. And I know myself, being a chef, I often am cutting fresh produce all the time. I really do eat this way, and I feel wonderful and have really changed my life and my health incredibly by doing that. But I also know you're very busy. As teachers have a lot on our plate, and at the end of the day, you don't want to be being hassled with a lot of new tasks to learn and new processes to do with getting vegetables and dinner on the table. So we are going to start out. Our very first video today is going to be something many of you requested. How do you process vegetables? How do you cut up something? How do you wrestle with this thing and butcher a head of cauliflower? So that's what we're going to cover. I'm going to spend about 20 minutes going through just a whole plethora of the rainbow of veggies here and cutting up and doing different things with vegetables to talk about. It's going to be pretty fast paced. I'm going to go really blowing through this. So don't be afraid to go back and watch the video a second time. And you very well may catch something you didn't hear the first time, where you want to see me do a certain thing again, the way I cut something up. Don't be afraid to go back and watch the video again. So I'm going to try to get this done in about 20 minutes and really show you all different things that you can do with vegetables and different ways to cut them up and approach, I call it butchering vegetables, but I got that from Italy in Chicago. They call it that at one of their stations, where they work with people like how to not be afraid of produce that you brought home from the farm market or a CSA box or someone gave to you. And what do you do with this stuff now that you have it? I always say, number one, if the only way you're going to eat vegetables is to buy it in the store pre-cut, by all means, buy it pre-cut up. But you know what? That costs a lot of extra money too. So if you just learn a few techniques, we can show you how to get around getting your own vegetables cut up quick and easy. I'm not going to go through a whole lot of fancy tools here. This is what I'm going to talk about. A good vegetable peeler, that's always handy. A shredder like this, if it's on legs or it's a box shredder, I like a shredder just flat like that. Bigger holes, great for cheese or whatever else you may use it for. A paring knife that you're comfortable using. And here's my main tool, is a chef knife. This is a pretty big size chef knife. You may like an 8 or 10 inch, whatever size fits your hand, feels comfortable, and you regularly sharpen is the right knife for you. I don't push any certain brand. This happens to be a rubber handled Mercer, which is extremely comfortable with the cushion grip. You may like something with a wooden handle or a very fancy Japanese artisan knife. Use one that feels comfortable to you. And what I'm going to be doing today is showing you some really basic technique using a chef knife, and making sure your finger stays behind the blade like that, and you can use your fingers to grab the top like that. That can help you guide the knife and feel more comfortable doing it. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to tell you about holding a knife, but we're going to be doing all different vegetable cutting with these and not using a whole lot of fancy gadgets. So to start out with, tomatoes, obviously a really great vegetable to use. There's all different tools, but if you don't have a fancy tomato core, you can just use a paring knife, and you can cut around the tomato like that and use the blade kind of away from you like that, and you can cut the core out. That is one way to do that. Other people may take the tomato and cut it in half, and then use the tip of the knife to cut that core out like a little wedge like that and take the core out that way. That may be the safest way at all if you are not feeling comfortable using the paring knife. Now, tomatoes obviously are a great thing to use in many dishes. I'm also Going to grab some cherry tomatoes here because in winter when tomatoes taste like much of nothing, I love cherry tomatoes because why? Well, you can take your paring knife, cut those cherry tomatoes in half, and yep, they go great on a salad. You can toss them in your omelet and your pasta, but you put these in a skillet and you cook them up and let them kind of blister and burst apart. They give a really fresh tomato flavor. You can also roast them in the oven and get them kind of broke down and a little sweet and chewy and concentrated. They taste way better than just basic old boring winter tomatoes. It's a great way to get a little extra flavor out of them. Tomatoes, after they're cored, you can, of course, if you're going to be dicing them, to say put them in a salad or something, I always cut things first in slabs and then crosswise. You can go ahead and cut those into pieces for dicing. Now, this is where I tell you about with a chef knife. Chef knives are not used like a wood saw or you're cutting bread. They're not meant to be banged up and down like this. The best way to use a chef knife is to put the front tip down and rock and slide. That rock and slide motion, it seems a little weird. If you haven't used that way before, it's going to feel really foreign. But putting that knife down and going forward like that and pressing down and letting the weight of the knife as it slides forward cut through the vegetable, put the tip down and cut through like that. That is a way to get comfortable using the knife. And then when you want to go faster, of course, then you would be sliding it quick short strokes like that to dice. We're gonna get that tomato out of the way. We have, looks like I'll be making a stir fry tonight after I'm done cutting all these vegetables up. There's all different approaches to different vegetables. I'm going to be showing you a whole bunch of different ones here just to give you an idea. Brussels sprouts, another fabulous vegetable I absolutely love. Brussels sprouts, you're just cutting off that little base stem like that. Peel off those couple outside leaves. Of course, washing everything thoroughly before you use it. Always wash your vegetables. You don't know where they've been and who's been touching them. So always wash your vegetables well. I just use water with some salt or vinegar in it to help clean the vegetables. I don't use any special anti-chemical sprays or anything. Just peeling off that outside like that. Roasting these in the oven at 350, 375 until they're all brown and caramelized is probably my very favorite way. If I was roasting them, I would just cut them in half and get them kind of broke up a little bit smaller pieces like that so that they have more surface area. You want surface area so that hits the hot pan and that roasts and causes caramelization and browning on the outside. Another great thing to do with Brussels sprouts that I love making stir fries this way. Again, take that base off, peel those couple outside leaves off, get those out of the way. And then again, using that chef knife, you can kind of give these, I would first cut it in half because then that flat side down makes it very easy and safe to cut. And again, your left hand, keep it like a claw. Don't have it sticking out like that. Keep your fingers in a claw. And then thinly slice that Brussels sprout. Now, when it's in thin slices like that, you can stir fry it with apples, onions. Oh, it's just fabulous. Throw some craisins and some nuts in there. It makes a fabulous warm salad stir fry. So thinly slicing your Brussels sprouts like that is a great way to make a nice warm stir fry dish. All right, who's next? Oh, let's grab some more veggies here. One of my favorite veggies to demo. I went to culinary school and then ended up watching a YouTube video watching somebody cutting a vegetable demonstration and saw somebody cut a pepper and went, oh, hey, I like that way better than my instructors taught me. There's always more than one way to do something. So bell pepper, loaded with vitamin C, so good for you. This is the bottom with the little bumps here. Let's first cut that part off. Now you're going to cut this into strips and use it, of course, not throw it away. Let's go to the top, cut that top part off. And see, that stem already popped out. So now you have this part. Cut this in strips or cubes too. Certainly don't throw it away. And now look what you got left. You got this pepper. Well, we don't want you digging into your palm like this. Not a good way to do it. So here's a really quick way to get that pepper. Cut down the side like that. Turn it on its side. And you can just sideways cut those ribs off. And look who comes out. The whole core. And you are left with flap of pepper. This is so easy to work with now. You could cut this into big slabs or panels like that. Another way always to dice something, start out, you want to cut it in strips like that. Line up the strips like logs, turn them sideways, and then again the tip of the knife down, rock forward like that, and look at how quickly you can dice up a pile of vegetables. And you have some nice dice there. You could use that in tacos and an omelet. You could throw that into your pasta on top of a salad. Works fabulous. Now if you were wanting to roast your peppers, I would put these slabs of peppers on a cookie sheet and put a little oil on them, just a little slick of oil on them, and roast them until the skin is actually, it can be totally black on them. You can peel that skin off, rinse it off under water, and you will have soft, roasted, smoky tasting peppers, which you can puree into a sauce. You can put them in soups, chilies. Very wonderful, very nutritious. So roasting them is another great way to use a bell pepper. Here's another great vegetable. Hang on, we're going fast here. You may need to rewind parts of this. Here's a sweet potato. Such a healthy vegetable, right? Just loaded with beta carotene, high in fiber. Much better choice than a white potato. Now you could put this in the oven, just poke some holes in it like you would with a white potato, wash it well, and roast it until it's soft and it's collapsing. You can cut that open and use it as a baked potato. It's phenomenal. Put some black bean chili on it. It's so good. That's a wonderful way to do sweet potatoes. You can also peel them. And again, trusty potato peeler. Great simple tool to have in the kitchen. Get those out of the way. After your potato is peeled, always when it's a hard vegetable, put your hand on top like this and use your weight to push the knife down. That's the safest way instead of just trying to force it, because some vegetables can be really stubborn that way. And if you want to make some sweet potato fries or steak fry slabs, again, put your hand on top to put weight on that knife, and you could cut those into slabs. If you want to make sweet potato fries, again, toss with a little oil, salt, and pepper, maybe some chili powder or curry powder. Bake those on a sheet and make sweet potato fries. Way better for you than just plain white potatoes. Not that potatoes are evil, but just try to use a sweet potato once in a while. So much better for you. And here is a great idea. You have your sweet potato, your shredder. You can shred your sweet potatoes. Now what do I do with these? One of two things. You can actually add these into a slaw, like a cabbage slaw. A lot of vegetables are great eaten raw that we are just used to always having cooked. Just get out of the habit of always eating the vegetable the same way, because a lot of people say they don't like vegetables, but perhaps they only ate them one way, boiled the way their grandma made them with butter on them, and it really didn't do the trick for you. So there's always different ways to try vegetables, and you may come across one that you and or your kids or family may really like. Now, the other thing, shredding that sweet potato, this is giving you fabulous hash browns. Have a little oil in a skillet, put those shredded sweet potatoes right in the pan, and let them brown on the bottom, flip them, brown the other side. They cook reasonably fast. You can put some scrambled eggs, black beans, avocado, make like a huevos rancheros on those cooked shredded hash browns. Super healthy, a really fun alternative to using just regular white sweet potatoes. So don't be afraid to try sweet potatoes as a hash or as French fries. They're so good. How could you want to pass them up? Ooh, who do we have next? All right, let's grab a carrot. Let's grab some broccoli. All right, here we have lonely, basic old carrot. Cut off the ends. Yes, you can buy baby carrots in a bag. You can buy those all day. They're just big grown-up carrots put on a lathe and they're ground down, so they're really not very flavorful in my opinion. I really like buying rainbow carrots. They're usually in the organic section, or just a basic carrot like this. It just tastes so much better. I just think the little baby carrots are flavorless. They just taste like wood. But again, if that's what you buy, at least you have carrots, and I applaud you for that. So, no judgment. I'm just giving you alternative ways to serve vegetables. If baby carrots are what your kids will eat, feed them those all day. That's a great alternative. You can roast them, you can steam them, you can cut them up in little pieces, throw them in soup. This is just using a regular basic long carrot, if you want to call it that. With long vegetables, I like to cut them in more manageable pieces, because if you have a long carrot like that and you're like, well, I'm going to try to cut that into a long strip, you're just going to end up getting your fingers nicked. So celery, carrot, no matter what the long vegetable is, cut it into more manageable pieces. you want carrot sticks, I would, again, put the hand on top, go through the knife, you cut it in half, put those flat sides down so it doesn't roll around, it's safer to cut. And there, you have carrot sticks for eating or for roasting on a pan. You want some diced carrots in your soup? Well, turn those sideways, and here we go. You can dice them into little cubes. Maybe you want to take carrots and you want to cut it into coins. And you want carrot coins for your chicken noodle soup that you're famous for. All different things to do with a carrot. Of course, you can shred your carrot too and put your shredded carrot into your potato or sweet potato mixture, or make little like latke, little potato pancakes with them. No way you can go wrong adding some nutritious carrot into your dishes. So who else are we going to put in? Let me just get some of these peelings out of the way. Are you feeling a little overwhelmed yet? Have I out-vegetable-you'd right out of the room here? Not my intention. Just giving you some great ideas on how to use vegetables. All right, broccoli, one of the heroes of the vegetable world, right? It never goes out of style. Fads come and go. Keto today, no fat tomorrow. It's going to be always a different diet fad. But lifestyle changes where you're actually eating like this on a regular basis and getting more real food that grew out of the earth into your diet. That never goes out of style. That's like the one thing everybody can agree on that does anything with nutrition or health. That they all agree on. Now, if broccoli, there's a dirty stem part on the bottom like that, I would cut that part off. But it's sad that people cut all these stems off, because to me, that's the sweetest part of the broccoli. This part's okay. I honestly love the stems. And when you have your vegetable peeler, you can just peel off those tough outside skins on the outsides of the stem. And look at how that just reveals that nice tender stem on the inside. Just makes it much more easy and less woody and chewy to eat when you do that with your broccoli. Now, if I was going to roast this or even stir fry it, I would again cut these into sizes that are a little bit more approachable. Can I get this in my mouth? Yes. Something this big in my mouth? Probably not. So make it that it's something reasonable to eat. Pieces like this will shrink quite a bit when they roast, as do all vegetables. So you can cut those little branches apart like that. They're kind of like tree branches. If you were pruning a tree, you would be kind of taking each branch off like that. If you want to get rid of some of those outside skins, go right ahead. That to me right there, primo, best part of the broccoli. You could cut these into chunks. Say you were making a chicken rice broccoli casserole and you wanted this broccoli cut up. I would just dice those into more manageable pieces like that. And the idea is to have them cut consistently. If they're going into a soup or something, have them all about the same size so they get done at the same time. If they're roasting, yeah, keep them similar so you don't have some all burned up and the other ones are all nice and plump and hardly even done yet. It's just a way to have your vegetables turn out more consistently edible is when they're cut up in the same sizes, no matter what preparation you're doing them in. So broccoli, just a great, great vegetable to put in any salad, any stir fry. Broccoli soup is one of my very favorites. All right. I have a big compost pile outside. That's a good sign. My compost pile is bigger than anything else from my cooking. Green onions. These are so fun. They're so fresh. A mild, delicate tasting onion. They're not so harsh. Now they got the little hairdo, the little roots on the end. You cut those off. Get rid of those. And then trim off any sad looking ends here. Now it's a real shame if you cut it off here and get rid of all those greens because, wow, this is all edible. Maybe there's an outside leaf that looks a little rough and you want to peel it off and get it nice and clean on the outside. But once you have a nice sturdy green onion, if it's a little thick on the base, you can kind of cut that in half if you feel that would be more palatable for your salad or whatever you're using it for. But again, this is just cutting a green onion in slices, pieces. You can turn it at an angle. That's called a bias cut. If you want fancy, more diagonal cuts, you can do that too. Use the green. Quite often a recipe will call for put the white and light part inside the recipe, but then on top of the salad, they're asking you to save the green for on top. And this is the dark green you sprinkle on top. It's a fresh, green, grassy, nice, mild onion flavor. Don't throw the greens away. As long as they're clean and in good shape, use the greens. Cook with this. Put this on top of, like, say, your stir fry or an omelet or even pizza. Yeah, veggie pizza. That's starting to sound like a really good idea right about now. I'm hungry. Let's see. Who else can we talk about here? Mushrooms. I would just take a damp paper towel, wipe off any dirt I see. If you want to cut off that bottom dirty part of the stem, by all means, a good idea. Otherwise, mushrooms, fabulous thing to use in your cooking. Slice that mushroom up. If you're roasting them, I would cut that mushroom in half and leave it in halves for roasting. Here it's sliced for, you're making a sauce to go on top of your chicken breast, or you're throwing that into a pasta or a rice dish. I would slice it for that. No need to soak them in water. Mushrooms are a sponge and they'll soak up so much water that it's just going to be a mess. Okay, I'm saving this guy toward the end in case it makes me cry. An onion, one of my favorite things to cook with. My house always smells like onion. No apologies. Onions are so good for you. Red ones are even more healthy than white ones. So, any of that loose skin out of the way here. And we're going to cut off the stem end. There's a million different ways to cut an onion according to just about every cooking show you've ever watched or every chef you've ever talked to. Some leave the root end on. I do not. Take that outside layer of skin off. If the outside layer of the onion itself is in bad shape, you may need to take that whole outside layer off. This one's in good shape. So I go from top to bottom, or I'd cut it in half like that. So you have your onion that way. Now, if you want to dice this onion, well, first of all, let's do it this way. You want some long strips of onion. I would see how the stripes are, they're like the grain of the onion. I would cut crosswise like that, and that makes, oh darn, here come the tears. That makes like long strips of onion. That may be perfect for your French onion soup you love to make. But if you wanted to dice this onion up for, say, you're going to put it in chili, I would turn it the other way and cut it crosswise and kind of hold it in spots like that. The closer you cut together, the smaller the dice. And then crosswise this way, and so you get the nice diced onion. So that's something to practice with. Gosh darn, it's going to make me cry. Out of here, onion. Can't be crying for the end of my big finale here. Get the onion off of there. That was cutting up an onion. This guy, oh my gosh. My best advice on this is if you can find it pre-cubed in the deli, buy it pre-cubed. They have frozen cubed squash like this at Aldi's in the freezer section. Another great idea. I love squash. If you were going to prepare this, I would use a vegetable peeler. They also make some big heavy duty wide peelers like this, and you would peel the peel off the squash. Be careful, these are really sharp. Or you can use the vegetable peeler to peel it. And once it's peeled, it's just a matter of dicing it. And again, use that hand on top to get through the toughness of the squash. But if you're not comfortable cutting up veggies, or you just don't have the time, it's worth every penny to buy one of these babies cut up already. It just is. All right, last but not least, we have our cauliflower cutie vegetable. Everyone loves cauliflower. It usually comes with a bunch of leaves on. So kind of get inside that base there and rock that knife and cut around and get that base off. If you didn't cut far enough, that's okay. Go a little bit deeper this time and rock that knife down, and there you go. Then you get the whole base of that head of cauliflower off like that. Get that big base of leaves. Now you have other smaller leaves. You can just snap those off. Get those out of the way. So now you can see there's a core, and then there's like several, 4 or 5, main trunks that come out like that. I like to use a paring knife. It's just a little bit easier to get in there. And you could just get around that core like that and pop those chunks of cauliflower off. Really easy, right? And if I want to roast my cauliflower and I want lots of nice surface area, I would go ahead and actually slice these like this, because then you have almost like chips and they get brown and caramelized and they make a great soup, they make a great side dish. They really have some fabulous flavor, the more contact. This can't make a lot of contact. When it's flat like this, it can bake just like a chip and get nice and brown. You can also, where's my shredder here? Cauliflower rice is one of the hottest things you can buy in a grocery store. Super, super popular, low carb. Cauliflower rice is a great thing. You can throw these chunks right into a food processor, process it, make little bits of rice for cauliflower rice. Fabulous dish to use. If you don't have that option, you can grate your cauliflower. A little bit more time consuming, but you will get that rice texture, that little bits of texture for your cauliflower. I would highly recommend using a food processor. It just takes seconds, or buy bags of cauliflower rice already riced if that's something you just don't have the time or the machinery to do. That's a great option. Last but not least, cauliflower is also very popular because you can make steaks with it, believe it or not. Cut right down the middle like that. You can cut your cauliflower in half if you've left that stem in there. See how it looks like a tree? And you can cut a cauliflower steak. I kid you not. You can cut a cauliflower steak like that, and you can grill this on your grill. Put some olive oil and seasoning and spices on, and drizzle some avocado sauce or ranch or something on it. You can make actual cauliflower steaks, or put them in a hot cast iron pan and make steaks. Grill it, shred it, rice it. Cauliflower is just a miracle vegetable. You can use it in a million ways. So I think that is everybody for today. That is my vegetable demo. I'm covered in cauliflower bits. It's a wonderful place to be. So thank you for joining us, Appleton Schools. I will be back with you for another video, and I will be doing all kinds of fun actual cooking recipes. Today was just kind of a learning demo skills day. So thank you for joining me. Eat well, take care of yourselves, and we will see you soon. Thank you from Healthy Chef Shell.